The third official album in the RCA Albums collection is the soundtrack, the first soundtrack that appears in the box set, or the first LP that was ever put out for one of his movies, Loving You, his second movie. There was only an EP put out for Love Me Tender, and Jailhouse Rock also only got an EP treatment. The songs later appeared in a number of different places on both albums and singles. But Loving You was the first one of the records to get, or the first movies to get a soundtrack album. Coincidentally, though, half this album isn't actually in the movie. In fact, on the back it shows side 1, all of the above songs are from Loving You. Side 2, none of these above songs are from Loving You. I've already talked about the songs from Loving You in the Loving You review. So as far as the second half of the album, you've got Blueberry Hill, True Love, Don't Leave Me Now, Have I Told You Lately That I Love You, and I Need You So. My favorites in particular off the second half of the album would probably be Don't Leave Me Now, and that's kind of a cheat in so much as it is from Jailhouse Rock, but it appeared here first. And that's one thing that's been interesting going to through all these albums in the albums collection, is that there's stuff that appears in one place and then it doesn't appear until 10 years later. It was very weird that way with good old Colonel Parker and RCA Records. But again, this one also has a little bit of liner notes here on the bottom on the meticulously recreated artwork in the RCA Albums collection. The amazing and controversial Mr. Presley is in the headlines again, this time as the star of the Paramount picture Loving You. They actually do mention who plays on the album, which is something that they didn't necessarily do on all of Elvis's albums, so surprising to see this here on this version, or on this album. But as far as the rest of Loving You, as I said in the Loving You movie review, all of the songs are classic rock and roll songs. Let Me Be Your Teddy Bear, Loving You, Got a Lot of Living to Do. There are a few missteps like Hot Dog. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. But overall, this is kind of on par with the first two of Elvis's album. The bonus being that there's a movie attached to it that you could go to the theaters and see, or you could take this home as a memento of the movie. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's again, like I said, except for like Party and Hot Dog, and I don't really much care for Elvis's version of Have I Told You Lately That I Love You. He's kind of doing that big bravado thing that he did on a lot of songs in the 50s. I think he was still trying to figure out how to sound professional, and I sort of talk about that in the Jailhouse Rock movie review. And he kind of over-sings it. But aside from that, I really, really like this album. Definitely recommend it.